Recording in progress. I like when it says that. So can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
So welcome back. Welcome back to day number 3. I can't believe that we are on day number 3. It is an absolute pleasure, really, to be here again with you. So thank you for showing up. All right. So are you ready for another incredible day? I know I am. How's everybody feeling?
Feel great.
Great. I love sharing this information with you, really. And it is with the hopes that you are allowing this information to digest, to really resonate with you as well. So today is our last day together. So it's going to be fun. This should only be an hour. So I'm happy about that. So yesterday, you got a chance to put pen to paper, right? And you got a chance to think beyond like your limitations for just one day. That was like the homework as well. So did you all see where I posted late in the Facebook group about the homework? It was pretty late. So hopefully you got a chance to kind of think about it, wrote some things down, because I'm going to kind of speak a little bit to that today as well. So today we will talk about what are these limitations. This was all based on your homework too, and based on day 1 and day 2's information. So these limitations, and how do we eradicate them, and what's been holding you back for so long, as me as well, right? Before I got into this information. And I'm excited about that. So what was it like for you to imagine that you had like a magic wand, right? And that you could create anything you want? So did you allow yourself to go there, like with this magic wand, to think about what it is you truly want in this lifetime, no matter what that is? Because as I said before, like on day 1 and in day 2, and I'll be repeating a little bit of it today, your thoughts are creating your reality. Your attitude to life is life's attitude to you. Okay, hold on just one second. I want to put it on a different view. 1 second. How come I see Dorothy? But you all see me, right? Okay, great. Okay, great. Yeah. So again, your attitude, it is your attitude to life is your life's attitude to you. And your attitude towards money is going to be money's attitude toward you. It's just how it is. So I'm not teaching like about business and business tools and skills and all that. It's just about words and earning money. So what I'm teaching is about thinking. You're really just thinking. So you can earn money in any industry, like, right? Even in any country today, we can be online and we can earn money from anywhere we want to earn money from. In any place in the world, starting with nothing, right? Or starting with something. There is no problem there. That is not an issue. The only problem is the lack mentality, right? So today is all about getting really clear about the root cause of your results. This is very important. This is a very important day. And a day where you may feel a little different emotions. And a lot of things may be running in your mind, right? About the information that I'm sharing, but that's to be expected. That's all good. It's because everything that I created here is meant for us to really resonate with this material, right? So last night, I posted homework, I don't know, somewhere around, I think after 7 o'clock, right around 7 or 8 o'clock. And if you got a chance to do it, that's fantastic, because this is where it all starts, like the thinking of what it is you really want and what's possible for you. This is where this information really starts. So I say this with absolute knowingness, but there are certain things that you have to do in certain ways, and you've got to think, right? You got to think in a particular order. And when you get that right, then it all comes into like a physical manifestation. So everything in your life right now, all of your results right now are a physical manifestation of what you have previously thought about. Everything. And we tend to see what we have, right? We look at our five senses. We look through our five senses. And that's when we say that's not enough, or I can't afford, or I can't do this. And as soon as we say that from a place of our current results, I want you to hear me. As soon as we say that from a place of our current results, what happens? It reminds us that we can't afford, right? That we can't have. It comes into the feeling, right? Into our bodies. And it's not a good feeling. And you continue down that path of I can't afford it. That's not the truth. I love the bells. That's not the truth. You have so much unlimited abundance inside of you. You just are not like thinking correctly, as I wasn't. So yesterday you were creating the dream. Remember, that was part of the homework. Just to sit down and write out some things that you really, really wanted for your life. I call it creating the dream. Now, I want you to realize that that dream can come true. It really can. That picture that you drew or that you were writing out, right? You saw it in your mind. And if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. But as I said, you have got to do things in a certain way. That's just not me saying that. Remember the book, Think and Grow Rich? So you have to think first, right? And that causes you to grow, think and grow rich, right? And then you will inevitably get rich. And remember what rich means. It means an abundance of everything. More money, of course, relationships, health, life, giving, impact. Rich is everything that we want to make manifest in our lives. So I really want you to really think about that for a moment. You don't have to keep thinking about like the how, right? How you're going to earn the money, how you're going to get like that divine relationship is what I call it. How you're going to get healthier. Don't worry about the how. Those are absolute pointless thoughts. And I know that they are logical thoughts because that's how we've been trained to think all of our lives. But guess what? It's the wrong way to think. It really is. And you don't have to believe me, really, you don't. But it's so true. And this is where you've got to say to yourself, well, like maybe I've been thinking, or maybe my thinking isn't serving me, or the way you're thinking right now isn't serving you to the best of your ability, right? Or the best of your potential. Maybe I should think another way. And that's all I want you to do today is just give this a go. Give this information a go. So in the book, Think and Grow Rich, I kind of touched on it the other day. There's a chapter on desire. Napoleon Hill, he says, there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief and not just mere hope and wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds will not inspire faith. It will not inspire courage, and it will not inspire belief. And this last part, which I've read before, and I love it so much, he says, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty. Now, how incredible is that? Like no other, what I call energy, is required. So now if you really take that for what it says, right? If you really take that for what it says, you'll live a wonderful life, right? And this is why I am sharing this information with you, because this is what I've learned, of course, through my mentor, Bob Proctor, and others over the last year or so. So I am looking for people who are committed, who are really committed to the ideas you come up with, the ones you came up with yesterday as well. Even if you have no ideas, even if you don't know what your goals are, then are you committed to finding out? Are you committed to discovering your purpose by discovering you? Because that is how you discover your true purpose. You are capable, as you already know, of as much success, but you have to be committed. So will you take this, what you desire, seriously? So it's not what I desire, it's what you desire. And this is why it's so important to write down your goals in an illogical way, because there's a method behind it. There's some science behind when we write our goals down illogically. I'll get into a little bit, as we go through the day. But you have a choice, and we all have responsibility for our attitude. Remember, attitude is the only thing we can control in this entire universe. You can't control the economy. We can't control what's happening in our government. We can only control what's happening within us. We can't control a lot of things. The only thing we can control is our thinking, our feelings, and our actions. So I want you to be committed to whatever you decide to be committed to going after. So if you do not have like a burning desire to win, and you know me, I'm not about the hustle and the grind. So I'm not talking about this burning desire to, create this goal and then just go and hustle and grind about it, because that is not how God wants us to work. But if you do not have a burning desire to win, to want to change, right? And if you don't want to go like all the way in, you want to just go half in, you're never going to be able to get what it is you really want. I don't even think that 95% effort is going to be enough. You have to be 100% in, and you have to just want what you created yesterday in your mind first, because if you don't, your excuses will take over. Think about it. Your excuses will just take over because you don't have that burning desire to want to win. So your goals, your dreams have got to be bigger, have got to be stronger than you have ever perceived them to be, right? They have to be stronger than your limitations. You can't wish, you can't hope, and you certainly just, you have to have faith. In other words, you have to believe. So I also know that you may not believe all of this material that I'm presenting, and that's okay, because you can create belief along the way. This is the best part. You are only receiving in cash value what you are putting out in the marketplace. Whether you are an employee, right, or an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. There is a law that governs the money that we earn, and it's called the law of compensation. It's the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty it is in replacing you. I study this information every day, and it has become a habit, and it has helped me change my habits as well. So maybe you are in the habit of saying things like, because this was me, so no judgment, saying things like, I'm broke, I'm tired, I'm actually sick, I want more, right? So, and I'm in a habit today of saying things like, I'm abundance, right? I'm prosperity. I love having divine relationships. I have divine health. Money comes to me easily, and it flows, to me with joy. I attract high quality paying clients into my life every single day because I show up every day, and I utterly am committed to serve and to get the results that I desire. So these are habits. And as I say these, what comes to me is awesome people like you. You are seeking more. You are listening to this, and I'm so grateful. And I'm praying that it resonates. So I'm not saying you are totally committed right now, and that's okay. There are some of you that say, I'm all in, Michelle. I got this. I want to learn this, this information, these tools. And I'm going to, I'm going to just be here. I'm all in. And then there are some that says, you know what? I'm not all in yet. I just want to sit and listen for just a little while longer. And that is okay to sit there, but don't sit there too long, not too long. So ask yourself this question. Do you know what to do? And are you ready? Right? And are you ready? And are you ready to do the things that you know you should be doing? Or do you still feel slightly stuck? Like slightly stuck? Because my purpose today is to really help you become aware of why. So this information will make a lot of sense today, because remember, in one day, I got you to realize that money is energy, right? Mind is energy, and you are energy. And your mind is able to move this energy to get the things that you desire in this lifetime. Okay, so that was all about the money mindset. And I think that was on Monday. So if you are catching up, like if somebody is listening to this for the first time, you have to go back to day 1 and day 2 to unwrap this information, because it could be a little heavy. You don't want to skip any of the days. Why am I saying this? Because one of the biggest reasons why people fail, whether they are in this material or whether they have never heard it before, is that they don't believe that they can. So when you look at what you created yesterday, because of the homework, or just the information that I was sharing, but hopefully you got a chance to do the homework, and you know you want more. So what is holding you back? Right? So let's get clear on where you are and where you want to be, because there is something holding you back. It's either you don't know, or it's fear, or it's procrastination, right? It's conditioning, it's confidence, it's something. It could be all of those. So I don't believe that this is the first time that you have like written out your goals or even drawn out your goals. I don't believe that, right? Remember, I love the ABC goals. And so when I say drawn out your goals, I'm only talking about the C goals, the illogical goals. So this is not the first time that you have thought about doing more. And I want to guess that like some of you, this is probably the first time you probably heard this material, but you were still stuck. Could be the first time you heard this material or not, but you still find yourself stuck. Because I know people who've been studying this material for a long time, and guess what? They're still stuck. Some of them, of who I know. So stuck is not always a bad thing. I'm stuck, but I'm just stuck at a different level that is less painful than I was 2 years ago. That's all. Now, I wouldn't really say I'm stuck, because now I have the roadmap to get unstuck. So right now, right? Like right now, you know, and I know that you know how to do 1% better in every area of your life, right? Would you agree on that? That you do know, and I know that you know how to do 1% better, right? In every area of your life, just 1%. Really get honest with yourself. Do you know how to do 1% better in every area of your life? Do you know how to get 1% better with your relationships? In all of your relationships with your children, whether they are little kids or adults, right? With your significant other, your co-workers, your partners. Do you know how to be 100% better with your health? Right? Do you know how to be 100% better in your career or with your business? So why I am pointing this out is because yesterday you designed goals for yourself, and that was part of the homework. I keep bringing it up because I hope that you all had a chance to at least look at it and at least jot some things down. And I love the fact that the homework is there and that either you did or you will do. But I want to be realistic. You are not going to achieve your goals until you start learning to do what you already know how to do. So the way that I teach my clients and the way that I am able to help them is to really get clear on what already they could be doing, right? That would advance them dramatically further in their performance, which would advance them dramatically further in and with their money. Because you're not going to believe that you can earn $100,000 a month, $25,000 a month, even $10,000 a month, depending on, where your mindset is. Yeah, whatever your number is a month. I mean, I'm talking about every month. I'm not talking about like, a one-time hit, right? Remember, money is energy, right? So it's going to be very hard for you to believe that you can earn that income. And let's just say $100,000 a month, because that's really, really big, right? In your mind, I'm not going to say there's no reason, no way, but it's going to be hard for you to believe that you can actually earn that every month consistently and easily with ease and flow versus hustle and grind, right? Right? Even if you're doing the little things to get there, it still may be hard to believe. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't do what we already know. So these are two really important things that I want to just kind of hit on right now. So number one, you don't know what you don't know. So if you are sitting right now and you're saying, I don't know what I want with reference to my goals, well, you don't know if you don't know, right? But the way to look at it is that we can find out. Number two, if you don't do what you already know how to do, like you already have it all in you. So how many of you know that you should be doing more exercise? I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. How many of you know that you should be reaching out to more people in your business? So how many of you know that you should be spending more time with your spouse or your children? There is a lot of stuff that we know that we should be doing, but we don't do. We don't do. And that is what I first help my clients with, because you are never going to get to the big things if you don't take care of the little things. I'm a big believer in what they call compound consistency of doing things right and in a certain way every single day to bring order to the mind. And that's the first process of getting what you want. So compounded consistency over time is what creates success. And success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So what we discovered yesterday is that most people don't have goals. And the common denominator between a successful person and a person who is not successful is that successful people, they are willing to do what an unsuccessful person is not willing to do. That's the only difference. Because the successful person, I call that the rich person. That person is also an abundant person because they have habits. They created habits. They replaced their old paradigm with new habits. So you may not be in the habit right now of doing things that you already know how to do. So you're stuck. And we call that the knowing doing gap. We know more, but we don't do. The knowing doing gap. So let me explain that. So you think, you feel, right? And then you take actions. You think, you feel, and then you take actions, right? We have 5 senses: the see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. I think they are. Yeah, right? We have those 5 senses that we receive information through. This is everybody that's human, everybody on earth, right? So what you see on the outside, what you are picking up with your 5 senses is going to be a direct reflection of what you are putting out. So it comes in through the five senses, and it's a direct reflection of what you are putting out. So you got to realize that you were not born like this. We were not born like this. We were not. You were not born to believe negative things about money. So where did it come from? Where did this information come from that we thought that we were, that we can have these negative thoughts? Where did it come from? Because you came from a womb, right? We came from the womb. We got fed, we start relaxing, and everything was perfect. And then, after then we were born. We were born next. And then when we were born, everything changed. Remember, we wanted more, right? And all of a sudden, we were told, no, you can't have that. We don't have this. We don't have that. We can't, and you pick up on this information in your life, right? So the conscious part of your mind is your intellect. Remember the circle, that top half, that's your intellect. It's where you think from. It is also called your educational mind. Then I explained that you have a subconscious mind as well. And it deals with what? Your feelings and your emotions. So your subconscious part of your mind, remember I said, it controls your body. And the energy which you're giving out, it controls 96 to 98% of everything that you do. Your subconscious mind, your feelings and your emotions are driving 96 to 98% of your behavior. Your conscious mind is only 2 to 4% in control. So your conscious thoughts are really in control of your body, only 2 to 4% of all, of the time. So that's responsible for only 2 to 4% of your decisions in everything that you do. Think about that. That's big. So when you take an action, it gets a reaction. The attitude that you put out, the energy that you put out comes straight back to you. And your results in life are a direct reflection of how you feel, how you think, and the actions you take. So your thoughts about money, your thoughts about feelings, or your feelings about money, and your actions toward money creates your attitude toward money. And whatever that attitude is, that is what you will get back. So the main driver here is the subconscious mind. It controls everything. That's the part that's in control of everything that we do. We think, we feel, right? That's the part that we have to focus on, because all of our results in life are a direct reflection of that subconscious mind. Everything is in the emotional mind. So when you were born and you popped out, your emotional mind was wide open. You did not consciously think about things. That's the difference between, us humans and the animal kingdom. We need to be looked after. We need to be cared for. So there is a lot of information that comes into your mind from your mom and your dad and the people all around you. So when you were born, there was a little bit of mom, remember, and a little bit of dad due to the DNA. And that was your genetic programming. And that's the reason why you look like your parents, why we look like our parents, right? And why we have certain characteristics as them as well. But what is the smallest amount of conditioning that made your mindset? That was that time period. That was the smallest amount of conditioning that made that mindset. The biggest conditioning on your mindset has been your environment. So what's going on outside of you right up to the age of 5 and 7, right? All that happened to you from mom and dad right up to the age of 5 and 7. Everything that you heard around you up until that age. So all that stuff you heard, all the outside stuff, no matter what it was, negative or positive, it all went into your subconscious mind. Then what happened was it got closed out. So all the programming went into your consciousness, and you had five senses that were not able to interpret with it. Then you went to school and you gathered a lot of information, loads of information. And maybe you're still in school today, right? And you're still gathering a lot of, good information. And maybe you went, I guess if you like wrote on a piece of paper, and I don't think you wrote on a piece of paper and you said things like, I am good enough, right? I am good enough. Because what happens is when people go to school, like me and like all of us, we do get that sheet of paper, right? That tells us that we are good. Oh, I guess it tells us we are good enough, but we don't need a sheet of paper to tell us that, right? We don't really have to have a traditional education to get the sheet of paper so that we can feel good about ourselves. It's great to acquire the skills, but we don't need to acquire more education. So skill was there to give you all this education so that you would know more, right? So that you would know more. But when you go out into the world and you do things, we are doing it from a place of a conscious level, because the subconscious mind controls 96 to 98% of all our time. That's big. And it also controls the way we think, we feel, and we behave. Only 2 to 4%, remember, is controlling our thoughts in terms of our ideas. So the body is listening to the subconscious mind. The body is listening to the subconscious mind because it is outweighing what you are thinking. So even if you're thinking up here, your thinking mind, the conscious mind, that's only 2 to 4% of the energy up here. This is 96 to 98% of control, right? Of the energy here. So that means that, your subconscious mind is controlling your thinking. This happens all the time. So here's an analogy. You are going to get up in the morning just to go for a run. And you think to yourself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bed right now so that I can get up in the morning and go for my run. So I set the alarm clock, right? And in my mind, I am going for the run. But as soon as the alarm clock goes off in the morning, we hit the snooze button. This is habit. This is habit. We don't do what we already know how to do. We do what we do. We do what we are programmed to do. Hit that snooze button and go right back to sleep. It's just habit. So what is the programming I'm talking about? So you got feelings, you got thoughts, and you take actions, right? You also got ideas. And what you have to add to that is belief. And what you have to add to that is action. And when you put those three things together, it equals your results. So these three things are all the same. Your ideas, your beliefs, right, are non-physical things, but you have all three and they have to work together to create your results. So most of you have ideas and you probably have had them for years, but you have to realize that the ideas or the goals are in your conscious mind. You're just sitting up here and you're allowing these five senses to get to them. So you want more money. You want, divine relationships. You want better health, right? But what you know and what you do are totally different. And if you don't have the belief, you will never get the results that you require. Now you have incremental successes. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your goals, your big goals. So you have to have all three and they have to be in order. Ideas, beliefs, and action equals results. Thoughts, feelings, and actions equal results. So remember, the conscious mind can accept or reject any idea. So let's say I say to you, you can absolutely achieve your goal. Well, you may hear me and you may have a goal in your mind, but you can reject that. You may say, no, I'm never going to leave, leave this job to, whatever the goal is. I'm not going to leave this job to do this. I'm never going to have that goal right here. I reject it. But what it is that you reject. It's really not the idea is actually your paradigm. Your paradigm is in a way. So a paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior. 96 to 98%, and almost all of your behavior is habitual. Your paradigm is your habits and your beliefs. Another way to look at it is that you have a belief system that money is good or that money is not so good. So remember, you can think on a negative pole, that's the lack and limitations, right? Or you can think on abundance. You can be programmed, reprogram the mind to think on an abundance pole. So you went to school and you have all this know-how, all this education. But if you don't have belief, or if you are not in the habit of doing what you need to do, then all the education is useless. You may have a lot of debt after it, but it's useless. This is why, and when I was recently taught that you don't have to go out there and have this traditional education, although I finished school years and years ago, and although my kids are in, traditional colleges or whatever, education, I now know the difference. But will I discourage anybody from not getting a traditional education? Absolutely not, because those are skills. But there's a difference between knowing or knowing stuff, right, and doing. But you don't need to become more educated. The word education comes from a Latin word called educo, which is really to draw and develop from within, to draw and develop from within. So you have so much potential. We already know that. And there's a part of you that feels it. And it's in you. And you don't tap into it. And when you don't tap into it, what happens? You become exhausted all the time. You become tired. This then, right? This happens. This then and this thing, it's logic creeps in other words, right? So logic creeps in. And this is why I wanted you to create your big C type goal. I wanted you to write out your big C goal. And that is why the big C goal is not logical. But when do you do what's logical? When? Because when you do it, to me, you are limiting yourself. When you do the illogical, you are learning or leaning on the strength of God. There is a great energy and power going on in this world. So when you lean on the illogical, you're leaning on God. There's no lack of clients that you need in your business. There's no lack of people that you need to buy your products and services. There's no lack of whatever. It's just not there. There is no lack of ideas that you can't come up with. There is no lack of anything. The only lack is in your controlled way, conditioned way. So you are either thinking from a place of lack or you're thinking from a place of abundance. So your paradigm, which are your habits, it controls the way you see yourself. It also controls your time. It controls the way you think about money. And it also controls you, and how you see yourself. And that's what I call your self-image. You have a collection of habits. You have a collection of beliefs. And the habits and the beliefs are the lens in which you view the world. This is so important. So this paradigm is a mental program that you live off, or it's the lens in which you view the world. In other words, you see through your belief system. So your paradigm was created from a little bit of mom and a little bit of dad genetically. But then mostly it was what you heard all around you. So what did you hear about money? What's your beliefs around money? Did you hear things like money doesn't grow on trees? Money is the root to all evil. You got to work really, really hard to be, even just to earn or be successful. Remember all of that? You heard stories about money somewhere. Even if you think you didn't, you did. Especially if you was watching the news growing up. But right now, and with everything happening in the world, including what has happened over the last couple years, people are in a state of worry because they are thinking from lack. They are thinking money is running out and they will not have enough of it. So if you are thinking lack, right? So if you are thinking lack is what you're going to receive back. And it keeps people stuck. So even though you have a knowing doing gap, or you may have a knowing doing gap, gaps are where the opportunities lie. So if you can close your gaps, let's say your gap is procrastination, because paradigms control your time. So how productive are you? Do you get up, and get on and do things, right away when you know you need to do them? Or do you just push it to the side of the table and you know that you'll come back to it and do it at the 11th hour? A lot of people say they don't have enough time, but yet there's always been the same amount of time in this universe, in this world. I have the time, right? I have the same time as you have, but my results may look different. You may have some time as someone different who could be making, doing other beautiful things in their lives, but their time is the same as yours, the same as mine. So did you know that there are people that can earn in one day what you earn in a year? This is true. And I've seen it with my own eyes from others. And when I saw that, I was blown away. I was blown away because I thought that was for other people. I mean, I really thought that I thought it was for the people who we see on TV. That was my thinking. Now, what happens in our society, though, is that we were taught to think that this, almost like those people are awful people, like they are probably not happy anyway with the money that they have, right? We justify and we judge. And this is why we stay stuck. And there are some people who have a lot of money that we really don't even want to be friends with, right? We don't even want to get to know them. So you can be productive in going after your goal, right? And you can get things done faster than when it normally, takes you to get things done. So you don't want to be productive and working in a hustle and a grind, right? That's not what you want. You want to be effective, productive. You want to be effectively productive. So which means doing less to give you more time, more money, give you time for more giving, right? And more impact, more travel, whatever that is for you. So maybe it's your perception, because your perception is typically controlling your paradigm. So whatever you believe about money, whatever you have habits around, even habits of running yourself down, right? That whole hustle grind thing. I was there. Maybe you have a habit of not following up with people. Maybe you have a habit of thinking things that happened in your past. So here's an example of a limited paradigm. Let's just say you don't have like a great belief in yourself. This is all about self-image, by the way. So the lens in which you view the world means you either got a lens of lack or you got a lens of abundance. So imagine we have on goggles, and let's say you were thinking through a lens of lack, and this is in respect to money. Well, the truth is there is money out there, loads of it, and it's never going to end. And when I say it's out there, I'm talking about it's out there in opportunities, it's out there in ideas, right? And it's out there in people. It's just out there. And it's also negative ideas that's out there, right? Negative ideas are out there. Well, depending on how you think, you are either going to attract the green and you are going to go, and bring that into your mindset because you are magnetized to the green, or you're not, right? You will see all the opportunities if you're magnetized to the green. You'll see all the opportunities if you are thinking from abundance. So if you are going through the process of getting rid of all the habits and installing new prosperous habits and mindset, magnetizing your mind to prosperity, you will attract the ideas, the people, and everything you need to fulfillment of your goal. Well, likewise, if you are more attuned to the negative pole, you're going to attract all the negative things. And you're also going to make everything that everyone tells you negative. So your mind is like a magnet. So whatever you think about money, money thinks about you. But the truth is there is equally prosperous ideas out there and ideas that keep you stuck. There are. Now, I always explain this to my clients. It's like, remember the game Connect Four? So, and basically in that game of Connect Four is when you get all the colors, right, in a row, and you kind of start to win, right? So your mind operates the same way. You just got to collect and train your mind to think on a positive. And the truth is, you're stuck right now. Just right now, you're thinking from a place of what your results are. So your paradigm and your current results are identical. I'm talking about your current results where they are right now, not where you want them to be. That's why on day one, I mentioned, I think I said something like look at your current results, right? Because that's going to tell you what you are thinking about your money, about relationships, and about your health. And if you're honest with yourself, right? If you're honest and say that you are not earning the money that you want to be earning, then that's because you are not thinking about money the way you should be thinking about it. I hope that makes sense. So your paradigm is a collection of habits. It's a collection of beliefs that are controlling the results that you get in your life, because this part of the mind that is controlling 96 to 98% of all of your behavior. So you think you want more money, but if you don't believe that, if you don't believe that you can have more money, then that belief is going to take over and you're going to miss out on all the opportunities that are right there in front of you. Here's another example. Think of self-image, and what you think about is you. So self-image is really your conception of you, your conception of who you think you are. So maybe you don't have great thinking about the person you are. And most of the time it's because people don't know who they really are. So it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you are not. So you have this little mechanism within you called the self-image. This is big. This is what really helped me see myself differently. So it programs you, it programs us. And you can never outperform your current thinking. You just can't. Your self-image is how you see yourself. You have two images, the one in which you see yourself, right? And the one you portray to the world. Self-image is absolutely the most essential component to earning more money because it acts like a financial thermostat, a relationship thermostat, and a health thermostat. So let's say you're in business or you're in sales and you have a monthly target to hit, and you want to earn a certain amount by the end of the month. So let's say you hit that target in the first week of the month. So what happens the rest of the 3 weeks? You coast, you drift, right? You take your foot off the pedal. And at the end of the month, you still hit that target because you did it in the first week. Then there are months when in the first 3 weeks, there are no sales. Nothing is happening. And suddenly inside, you're going, you're really just going crazy. Like you're like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden, something switches, right? It shifts, right? And in the last week, you hit your target. Can anyone relate? Has this happened to anybody? I know it happened to me, especially when I was in sales. That's your self-image. You have like a mini thermostat within you that is setting the temperature of your life. And the way that is conditioned and programmed never changes until you learn how to change it. Because it lives in your subconscious mind. So all results come from the subconscious mind. We know that already. So if you want to change your results, you have to know how to change your subconscious mind. So here's another example. So I think of this like a spirit. Oh, do I have a pen? Like a spirit level. So imagine this pen. You can see, yeah. Imagine this pen, right? It's a spirit level. So this is your set point. So when it is balanced out, that's your financial set point. You always earn what you always earn. Think about it. You look back over the last 5 years of your life, you have been earning the same amount of money for probably the last 5 years. Maybe a little bit jumped up, you got some dips here and there, but on average, you've earned the same amount. And maybe there is, a bonus here and there, you get double pay for, whatever you do. You may get paid for an extra shift, right? And this thermostat starts to go up, right? It starts to move up. You have extra money in your bank account. But what happens when you get extra money in the bank account? What happens? You know what happens. You find a way to spend it, or a bill find a way to get rid of it, right? And you do find a way to spend the money. We always do. So you either go buy stuff, or, the kids need stuff, or I remember for me, it was always, I needed new tires. I always needed another tire when I got extra money. And depending on the type of car you're driving, tires are expensive. So that's what happens. So you come back to the same set point that you have always been at. Then there's months where you go in the opposite and you go a little lower, right? Where it needs to be. And you don't know how you are going to get through the month. And you still don't know what's going to happen. So people live their life like this every single month. And sometimes always they're in a state of flux, right? But things seem to work out, right? But guess what? You're still right back where you started. Nothing really has changed. We just get more stress, more anxiety, more, insomnia, right? That's because you are programmed to earn what you are programmed to earn. It's literally set in your subconscious mind. No kidding. This blew my mind when I learned this, because my programming was set to earn, you know, really about the same, even in sales, about the same, maybe a little bit more. And I was a top producer, but I never saw myself, oh, I'm going to go get it. I just didn't think like that. Right. Right. I was earning in sales every month what my mind was programmed to earn. But guess what happened? I worked more and I made more phone calls and I traveled more and I cooked more and I held more yoga classes and so on and so forth. Right. I even joined like network marketing businesses on the side and other side hustles, but nothing really increased. A little bit of here, a little bit of there, but I was exhausted. And the most important part is that I was worn down. I was worn down. It showed in my skin. We talked about it earlier. I was worn down. So you probably started the stuff on the side, a side hustle, right? And you are, putting in all this extra work and time. And I love network marketing. Like I absolutely love it. I do. I just don't have the time for it, right? But you put in all this extra time. But something always comes to either sabotage your results, or the money is either there or it's not there. And you just always end up in the same place where you started. Yeah, people don't realize that the amount of money they put in just to get started in some of these network marketing agencies, you really got to go. If you want to be successful, you got to work. You got to do the hustle and the grind, and that's a choice. So this all goes down to your self-image. So so you have choices, right? Your self-image, it lives in your paradigm. So if you are in sales, you must check to see what is your self-image setup. Do you know the amount of people that try to start a business every single day, but they don't see themselves as a salesperson? How are you going to be in business and not sell, right? So they talk about their products and services all day long. Brilliant, right? But when it comes to the money, they say they hate asking people for money. Yep. They say, I don't want to talk about money. And I'm like, why? It's because of their paradigm. Their paradigm starts to flare up. Now I know that. I didn't know that at first. So you don't want to talk about money because when you were a kid, perhaps you heard or you saw people asking your family for money or something like that. Whatever the story is, there's a story about money with all of us. Now, there are also stories that you are allowing from your past, right? You're allowing it from your past. And it's also controlling what's coming in the future. So your self-image was created in the past. So if you want to create like a new self-image, you actually have to go into the future. And I'm not talking about like future, like you actually have to live in the future as if it's now, in other words. So you have to decide in your mind, what's the new story that you are going to tell? Now, it's not easy just to write it down on paper and say, here's my new story. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to act like that. That is not how this information works. No, 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 no. You have to realize that these paradigms have been with you since the day you were born, and they were conditioned over a period of time. So you will not change them overnight. And anybody who tells you that you can, I don't believe them. It's scientifically not going to happen. There's no way you can reprogram your subconscious mind overnight. There are only two ways you can change your paradigm. Number one is by constant spaced repetition, doing something over a period of time. And number two, an emotional impact. How many times have you known someone who has been really down on themselves, right? Having, they don't like themselves, this is all self-image stuff. And something is going on, and suddenly something happens. And they are like, whoa, it's like a wake-up call. And then they say to themselves, I'm going to start taking life differently, right? I'm going to start seeing the world a little bit differently now, right? It's like their lens of lack became their lens of abundance because their inner story changed. The inner story Has nothing to do with the outside, what's happening outside of you. It's all within. They let go of what they thought defined them. That's what I did. I had to let go of my negative thoughts and my thinking of the past. I was stuck in my past. I really was. And if you are negative in the subconscious mind about money, about opportunity, about self-image, about your beliefs, about perceptions, about your habits, then that is what you're going to attract every single day. So let's check in with you. Let's just say there are 10 people in front of you, 10 people in front of you, right? You got these 5 senses going on. You remember that they're really controlling you. They're causing you to make a decision, and you impress that decision into your subconscious mind. But anyway, all these 10 people are in front of you. And 9 of these people say the same thing about you. You are brave. You are beautiful. You are such a lovely person. You've got so much potential, right? 9 people tell you that. Let's say that one person says, well, I totally disagree with that. And they start just looking you up and down. I don't think you're all that, is what that one person says. Or maybe that one person doesn't say anything. Or maybe they just say, oh, right? Which one does your mind magnetize to? Does your mind, and remember, this is the lens in which you look through. Does your mind grab onto the 9 people that said you were incredible? Or does your emotional mind grab onto that one person? I mentioned yesterday that you can choose your thoughts. You can either reject the 1 or accept the 9. Or you can reject the 9 and accept the 1. The truth is, because you have never learned to use your mind, I'm assuming, which is almost, a lot of us, right? That choice is taken away from you. But it's really not taken away from you. It really is not. Because you have the option and the choice to take it away from yourself. Because the paradigm becomes the ruling force. So because you don't know what you don't know, because your paradigms win, they win all the time, your paradigm was, programmed to the 1. And that's what you look in. That's what you took in. That's what you took in. Okay. That's what you looked at. That's what you felt. That's what you took in. So you thought negatively, which then means you feel negative or negatively, right? Which then puts you in a negative vibration, which means when you go out and take action in your business and in your life, with your relationships or your health, you are attracting what? You're attracting negative back. So regarding a relationship, if you do not love you, you cannot attract the love interest you desire. It just won't work. Now you can attract a love interest. I'm talking about the one that you desire. There's a big difference, right? If you are not that person, you are not going to come into contact with those type of people. It's a vibration. It's just not there, right? I had to learn this, I learned this too about relationships, period. So they are not, those people are not on your frequency. They are not on your vibe. You will only attract that which you are in harmony with. So all the money you want is up there. It's just up there. But you are still conditioned to think, I'm not going to say like way down here, but just, you not up there where the money is. You're conditioned to think down here. You see? So I want you to understand this part. You cannot outperform your paradigm. You cannot outperform your self-image. If you are thinking and feeling negative about money or the money that you want, you are not going to attract the opportunities to earn the money. Now, remember now, you can earn some money and it's all incremental. I'm talking about based on your C-type goals, okay? So people are thinking about the how. right? You are down here and you're thinking about the how. The how is up here. And once your vibration, your level of thinking in this realm gets there, then the hows are just going to show up. So I hope this makes sense. The only thing that's blocking you from getting what you want is your paradigm. So here is you. We think, we feel, we act. The energy that we give off is called attitude. That energy operates on a frequency. That energy, wherever you are, attracts, and all of the results are on that frequency. Think about that. It's all about your attitude. So attitude, as we already know, is a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So remember, the paradigm is the biggest controller and it drives your actions. So your subconscious mind, it moves into action. No matter what that action is, it moves in it. No matter what vibration it is, you're in. So if you move forward with the same level of thinking, you can't expect to have a different outcome. It won't happen. You must rewrite a new self-image script about yourself. So for your homework on this last day, what time is it? Oh, 2:06. So for your homework on this last day, and your story does not define you, I want you to know that. I want you to think about habits and your beliefs that you have been carrying around with you for so many years. I want you to write them out on a sheet of paper. This is really important. I want you to write it out on a sheet of paper. I want you to get it out onto paper. And I want you to get it out of you as well. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to burn it. I want you to burn that sheet of paper. Forgive yourself and let it go, right? It is what it is. Harvest the good and forgive the rest. So today, get it out of you and onto paper. You get rid of the old version of who you think you are and burn that. This is a way to take action. I'm serious about this. So take some time to do this and post a picture of your paper being burnt and post it in the Facebook group. Make this an exercise where you actually let go of your old story. You have to make room for the good. That is the good that is trying to come in. That is the vacuum of prosperity. And if you are holding all this emotional baggage, that's really heavy on you. It's blocking your lens. So write your habits and your beliefs that you think of, right? Write them down on a sheet of paper. Take a full breath in and a full breath out, right? And then burn that paper, and then don't forget to post. But really spend some time thinking about all these things. Like get a candle out and get quiet and start thinking about them, and then start writing and then burn. So for anyone who does this exercise, right, and post their image being burned, right? I want to see the video being burned, right? I'll send you one of my favorite books. Well, I have a lot of favorite books, but Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And if you already have that book, just let me know and I'll send you another one. All right. It's one of my, I have a lot of favorite authors in this space. So there's some really good books, but I could talk about this information forever. But I'm going to stop here. This concludes day 3, but I want to leave you with this. This information I shared over the last 3 days is not enough for you to take control of you. You are in a great vibration right now, and I love it. I have an exclusive opportunity for a select number of people who are ready to take action. So if that is you, don't allow your paradigm to dictate what you want. Let's chat. Send me a message and let me know that you want to hear more, okay? So take a deep breath, because this was a lot of information, but know this, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. You may have these emotions around this material, and you may want more, and that's great. But it all starts with changing your mindset, all right? So again, thank you so much for listening over these last 3 days. I really appreciate you. Okay, have a great day.